Welcome, welcome everyone. How are you? So while we wait for everybody to join us, um, hi, yeah, I see you're just like getting into the room. So while we wait for everybody to join us, can you just go ahead and pop in the chat where you're from, your organization, and your location as well, just so you get to know each other. I am Marina, marketing manager here at Raisley. I have been with Raisley for the past 4 years, and I am based in São Paulo, Brazil, which is very exciting to be here today chatting with you about all things AI. So yeah, say hello in the chat. We have roughly 1 hour to chat about AI and how you can use it to improve your fundraising for 2025. I will be looking at the chat, but we have also Madison here from the North American team, North American Raisley team that can get your questions and you can let Madison know if anything is going weirdly during the webinar. So yeah. Hi, so we have people from South Wales. Hi, Lee. Hi, Sherry. Hi, Haley. Chris. Hi, Jason from Alberta, Canada, California. Also, we have also people from New Zealand. We'll be hosting a session later for our Australian and New Zealand community. So it's interesting to see that we have a few people from, we have many from Cancer Society here. Hi, Karen in Chile. We're close. Hi, everyone. I'm seeing we have Equity. Let me know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. Um, from the UN Crisis Relief. Yeah, super excited. Welcome. We can get started because I see you are already um, logged in, most of you. So yes, we're here today to talk about AI, which is a topic that I, as a marketer, but not as a fundraiser, am very much interested to. And I have been using AI and exploring AI for at least the past 2 years here at Raisley. And at some point, I felt like, why not share all of the findings with our amazing community and maybe start the conversation in the fundraising space, because AI can be a very powerful tool for us, especially with under-resourced team. But before we get started, a little introduction. My name is Marina. I am a brand and innovation manager here at Raisley. I am a digital marketer. I have been working with marketing for startups for the past 10 years. So yeah, don't be fooled by my face of like who is in the 20s. It's not true. I'm also a brand strategist. I love building brands and thinking about how words and messages help us connect humans. More recently, I became an AI enthusiast. It's been keeping my mind busy for the past few years. It's been a really interesting journey to see how the landscape is just evolving so fast. And I'm also a collector of random hobbies, from cocktail making to coffee to biking and woodworking and bouldering, anything. I love a new hobby and I love to learn something new. Um, and I would like to talk to you about Raisley as well for a quick minute before we start. So if anyone here is new to Raisley, we are a fundraising platform. We're driven by social impact. We put purpose over profit. And we are and have been a proud B Corp for as long as I can remember. So this is outdated. We already raised $750 million so far, and our goal is to raise $1 million by the end of this year, which is exciting just because of the whole lot of impact that the charities and nonprofits using Raisley can do in the world with that, with the resources. And we have made over the years a multi-million investment in R&D to build a platform that's both easy to use and very much optimized for conversion. So we like to think that nonprofits deserve the best tech in the world. So we're here to build it for you so you can bring your fundraising ideas to life and do your and foster your mission. We are also carbon neutral since 2020, and we have a global team. So I'm in Brazil, we have people in Australia, New Zealand, Canada, US, Europe. We're all over the globe, which is super exciting and a very great way to be connecting with people. So if you want to talk to someone at Raisely, please scan this QR code and request a demo. We are working with very inspiring organizations globally. So even if you don't have the plans to switch fundraising platforms right now, but you want to talk about how some of those organizations are fundraising overall and how people are using Raisely, we would love a chat. So just scan the QR code, talk to our team, and let's talk about AI. I have one question to begin, which is the very question that got me to explore AI, is the thought of, wait a minute, will AI at some point steal my job? Can I be replaced by AI? And I don't know about you, but that for me is a real, or at least was a real fear. So pop in the chat. What do you think? Will AI steal jobs overall? Is your job at risk because of the rise of AI? I'm a marketer, so what I do is pretty much work with communications, and AI is very good with that. So for me, this was a question that popped up at some point. So Karen said, not really. Awesome. Yeah, well, I came to Catherine said, no, it should make it easier, but we still add value. 100%. Yes. Yeah. Well, I would like to share my journey before I give my answer to that, which is the journey of exploring AI from skeptic to advocate. So at first I was like, what is this thing? And I think we all had this moment back in when ChatGPT was launched. What's going on? What can it do? It got me curious. So I went exploring and started playing with AI. And this took me to a very deep um, place of like, oh my God, it's so good in so many things, and it's so scary the way it can write, specifically create content, which is the bread and butter of all marketing. But all of a sudden, I started to realize that it can only do so much without the human perspective. So I think the only thing that AI will never be able to replace is our own personal experiences and our own personal references. So I was like, what about helping AI? Like not use AI as AI is helping us, but use AI as we are helping AI to do a better job by sharing with it our own human perspectives, our own human experiences, our own human lenses to the world. And yeah, so I started learning and studying and experimenting and trying new things. And all of a sudden I was like, everybody come here, we need to look at this. But because I just realized how really powerful it can be, especially if you have a small team, to be able to leverage AI with human eyes, with human consideration, to be able to create things that actually improve our productivity and foster our missions, especially for us working for a purpose. I guess it's always very good when we can find something that will foster our missions. So I think actually the answer is that AI will not steal your job. It's more likely that it will actually help you get promoted, because it would make you a 10 times better um, team member or employee or collaborator if you learn how to use it properly, if you learn how to consider its limitations, and if you are critical about the work that you're doing with AI. And that's what I'm here to share. I'm here to share some things that I've learned along the way, and some tips that I think will be useful for anyone out there, as you were mentioning here in the chat. Actually looking to use AI to enhance productivity, to enhance, to get better at your job, and to basically do better overall. So yes, how to leverage AI to lead the digital transformation is what I want us to think about. And before I get started on sharing the tips, I just wanted to address a question that popped up by Todd. That said that he thought it was about using Razorly AI, not about testimonials of journeys. We will be showing how Razorly and AI are connected. Yes, in a minute. We are only, I guess, 7 minutes in. So I'll be sharing how to use AI for content creation, for conversion optimization, and that's where I will be leaning into the Razorly technology that uses AI to improve conversion rates, and also how to use AI to automate your work and be more efficient. So yeah, there's a portion of it that is about Razorly, but it's broader than it. So Todd, if you want to talk specifically about Razorly, I highly recommend that you request a demo and talk to our team and ask the questions, because we'll be zooming out a bit today to talk about AI in a broader perspective. With, as I mentioned, the intention to leverage AI to lead the digital transformation in fundraising. So I guess the first tip that I wanted to share with you is how to optimize content creation by using AI. And I have a few, from the perspective of the fact that sometimes nonprofits are still catching up on some trends that are already established in other areas. I brought some stats from a State of Digital Marketing report, which says that 80% of marketers say they implemented AI in 2024 and exceeded the ROI expectations. 90% say that they'll have budgets for AI tools in 2025, and 54% reported that AI tools had a very positive impact on their organizations. And this is true for the not-for-profit sector as well. There has been research showing that more than 90% of fundraising leaders are looking to adopt AI in 2025. So what to do to use AI to optimize content creation? First, use it to draft emails, appeals, and social media posts in just seconds. Or you could use AI to personalize donor stewardship, to really consider who you're talking to and make sure your emails, your SMS, or your communication pieces are very tailored to that specific donor. And lastly, to turn hours of manual writing anything into minutes of editing. And I wanted to bring this point because I think the editing is really important. So the last thing I feel like we should be doing is using AI to write everything for us, but rather to get us started, to get us to a place where we can just like quickly edit and review and refine it, instead of like having to write it from the beginning. So it's about optimizing content creation. I feel like not about delegating content creation to AI completely. And that's as a marketer, the approach that I have been taking. And I think it's really successful. So one of the best things to learn to be able to use AI for content creation is prompt engineering. I don't know how many of you here are familiar with this concept. But I decided to switch the phrase that has been more used to talk about prompt engineering, which is shit in, shit out. I decided to look at it from the positive aspect, to say better inputs, better outputs. So by working on whatever you're giving to the AI is maybe one of the best ways to ensure you're getting great outputs and not just getting some random generic text or content that looks like it was written for by AI and not for humans, and it doesn't connect with your audience. So this is a screenshot from this systematic study here that just like organized many different approaches or many different techniques for prompt engineering, just to show, just to make the point that this is endless. We could spend weeks talking about prompt engineering, but I think as we are talking about content creation, there are only 3 things that you need to make sure you are adding to your prompts to get the best results from AI. And the first one is relevant context, relevant background, which is something that as humans we have a lot. You know your organization, you know your audience, you know your story, you know your mission, you know what have worked in the past and what didn't work in the past. So just like sharing this context with the AI, and in this case, LLMs, generative AIs, such as ChatGPT, Claude, more recently DeepSeek, this is what will help you get better results. Also, whenever possible, assign a specific task. Describe what we're trying to achieve, because that's also going to help improve the quality of the output. And lastly, give clear instructions. If you know how to do this task, if it's a task that you have done, say in the past for content creation, and you have a process for it, let's say writing a blog, you have your research process, you have your validation process, you have your brainstorming process, and then you write an outline, and then you go to write a blog. Give clear instructions. This is actually a prompting technique called chain of prompts, or chain of thoughts, like just like teaching the AI how to follow specific steps in order to achieve whatever we're trying to achieve. If you keep that in mind, I think working with generative AI for content creation can produce really good results. And I decided to also share an example with one of the best frameworks. I guess over time you get used to creating good prompts, and you learn what works and what doesn't. So you start creating your own prompting techniques that works for your use cases and for your audience and for your context. But if you're getting started and you really want to like improve your AI written content by, I would say, easily 10 times, just use this framework. Try to build your prompt using the RODS framework. So in this example here, we're creating a blog to talk about the impact of our end of year appeal. So we start by saying you are a nonprofit content writer skilled at creating emotionally engaging stories. And that's just assigning a role. We're looking at the AI and saying, this is your role. This doesn't change how or what content and training data the AI will have access, but we will just create a frame of reference. So I want you to look at this problem that we are about to present to you with the lenses of a nonprofit content writer who is skilled at creating emotionally engaging stories. So creating this fictional persona, this fictional role, really helps improve the results. And then we will give it an objective. We will say, in this case, write a blog post. So we're specifying the task that highlights the impact of our end of year appeal, which raised $80,000. The goal is to celebrate this success, show donors the difference they've made, and inspire continued support. So we're specifying the objective. We're giving it what we want out of it. Then comes the details. You want to add as many details as you think you need. And this could be a list of topics. This could be a file that you attach to your chat. Literally anything that just like gives some details about this task that you're asking it to do. So here we're saying focus on specific programs funded, like art therapy workshops. And by the way, we're writing for the Inspire Art Foundation, which is a fictional organization that we use in one of the Raisely templates. So we're saying focus on specific programs funded, like art therapy workshops, community mirror projects, and scholarships for emerging artists. Share personal stories to make the impact feel real. Keep the tone warm, genuine, and grateful with engaging headlines and a heartfelt thank you. Aim for around 600 words. So we're giving instructions. We're creating some limits to make sure the output is more aligned with what we want. Then if you want, and if you have, share some examples. Examples are a great way to make the AI write in your tone of voice. So you could say, write in the tone of voice of this post or this blog. And you make sure your output is more aligned with your brand and doesn't feel too random or too generic. But in this case here, I'm giving other sets of examples, just saying that it can show transformations like before and after stories and end with a soft call to action, like help us keep the momentum going, or see what's next for the Inspiring Art Foundation. So it's just exemplifying what are some things that I want to see in this task, in this blog. And lastly, at a sense check, you could ask the AI to read it and think about it, critically review their work. In this case, I'm saying, ensure the blog feels personal, show clear donor impact, and inspires pride and connection. So I'm just giving a few things to check so that it's aligned with what I want, what I envision for this blog, and not very generic. So you can play around with like versions of this framework, add things, bring more things. But I think the key takeaway here is the more you work on your prompts, and that doesn't necessarily mean the length of your prompts, but the depth of your prompts. The more you work on your prompts, the best your results will be, specifically for content creation. So yeah, but the prompts are limited. The prompts are just a way that we have to feed AI with what we want. So I added in the resource center for this webinar a little video that I recorded for you on how to create your own chat GPT. This is a very interesting way to create a GPT that is trained by your own knowledge, uh, to write in your tone of voice, and to know what context your organization is in. So you could create this GPT and share the link to this GPT with your team, with your volunteers, and make sure everybody is using a version of AI, in this case, a version of ChatGPT that is highly aware of the context, knowledge, and the tone of voice. So it's a really interesting thing to try, but it does require a paid subscription of ChatGPT. And if you are considering paying your own subscription of ChatGPT, I would also recommend that you go for the team plan, because if you use the team plan, your data won't be used to train the model. So by default, you'll be opting out of using your data, whatever data you share with ChatGPT, to train their bigger models. So it's I think it's a better way to protect our information. So this little video will show you how to use custom GPTs for high quality content creation, and how to train your GPT in specifics of your charity for better results. So I've added also 2 templates, a set of instructions, and a set of prompts for you to create this own this custom chat GPT to write campaign messaging and website optimized conversion copy, and another version of it, so another template for you to create one for donor stewardship, donor email journey writing. So yes, scan the QR code, or you will get the link after this webinar via email to check this video and try for yourself. I think it's just a way to get you excited on testing those new things. And for anyone who is already using the paid version of ChatGPT and doesn't want to share this custom GPT with anyone, you could use Projects, which is a recent feature for ChatGPT that does pretty much the same. It's just internal and lets you switch between models. So, but it's the same idea that you upload your content, you upload your files, and you give it a set of custom instructions, and therefore the results will be more aligned with what you want. So moving forward, and here's about Raisely. Here's about how fundraising platforms and other tools that you use can actually help you get better results through AI. It's actually about using AI to optimize your donation form. So we recently launched, I guess last year, launched a feature called Intelligent Donation Amounts. And this feature uses machine learning to test and understand what specific donation asks will get the better conversion and higher donation size. So it's all about balancing between fast conversion with the higher donation size. And it's all done dynamically through AI. You don't need to do anything. You just need to turn it on the Raisely dashboard. It's also free for anyone using Raisely. And our research shows that it increased 12% of fundraising per session. So it's a very interesting and easy way to raise more with the help of AI, with AI running on the background, and like little to no effort, which is just turning it on. Um, and the last tip that I have for you today is about automation and donor insights. So I have 3 examples here of how to use AI to automate your tasks, your more repetitive tasks, or to improve your donor insights. I think chatbots have been around for a while, and they are a great way to make sure you are answering questions as long as they can be trained with your data. So you could use tools such as Zapier, Chatbase, and WonderChat to add chatbots to your website, to talk about your cause, your impact, to help regular donors, to acquire new donors. It's pretty easy to set up, and I think it's a very interesting way to reduce the time that the team takes to handle very constant, frequent donor questions. Another way to think about efficiency through automation is to think of which workflows you could be using to improve your daily tasks, or reduce your daily manual tasks with AI. So if you were already a Raisely customer, you probably know that Raisely has an integration with Zapier, which is an automation tool. And Zapier connects directly with OpenAI. And that opens just like a very huge world of possibilities of what you can do to automate workflows by connecting Raisely to Zapier to OpenAI or any other tools, your CRM and your accounting tools, and using AI, your email marketing tools, and using AI to really improve the results and make everything quicker. So the last topic here is donor insights. There are a few platforms out there. I brought 2 that are partners of Raisely, and that offer AI features to help with predictive donor analysis. One of them is Kila, and the other one is Daytero. So you can explore Kila, which is a CRM, to actually learn more about your donors through AI, and optimize your approach, personalize your approach based on their donor insights. Same with the tarot. They will run like predictive analysis to help you decide what's the best way to connect with your donors and talk to them and get them to engage and donate to your cause. So there are many other platforms out there. I think there's a very low effort ways to improve our day-to-day. I guess workflows can be a little bit hard to put together, but once you do, you do it like one time, and it's ready and it's working for the rest of your life, hopefully. So I guess it's totally worth it here at Raisely. We have been using Zapier to build workflows connected to OpenAI, to the OpenAI API, and it's really game-changing for the teams. So again, to help you get started, there's also in the resource website a free resource, which is a video tutorial on how to connect Raisely to OpenAI and Google Sheets using Zapier. And that's just to show you how actually to access the OpenAI API and connect everything into Zapier, and to give you one example of what is possible. But I highly recommend that you look and think about your workflows and your daily tasks and explore what you could build given the amount of integrations that, for example, Zapier offers. So in this tutorial, you see that we will be setting a trigger for any Raisely campaign. And whenever a Raisely campaign gets a large donation, we'll be setting the specific amount of this donation. This will trigger a ZAP, which is how we call an automation build with Zapier, that will create a new role on a Google Sheets that is hosted in your Google Drive. So this new role will then be sent with the donor information, so their name, where they're from, the size of the donation, the amount of the donation. This will then be sent to OpenAI through the API, which connects the API with OpenAI without the interface, with a specific prompt asking OpenAI to draft an email, a thank you email for that donor, based on the information that we just grabbed from the Raisely platform. And with Raisely, you can create custom fields in your donation forms. So you could literally collect any type of information that's relevant to you and that would be relevant to personalize your communication to that donor, and send that directly to OpenAI to draft really optimized and personalized emails to thank your donors and engage with them. So in this case, OpenAI will then draft this email and add this email to the specific role in the Google Sheets. And the way it's built is just because we always like to have a manual, like a human in the loop, as we call it. We want someone to look at it, to review it, to see if AI is not hallucinating or is not saying anything absurd. If your prompt is well written, is very unlikely, but as it can happen, it's always good to have someone see it. So it won't send the email immediately, although that is possible. So Zapier also connects with Gmail. So it's completely possible to make this, say, create a draft on your email account, or even send the email directly, but it's not what we want here. We want the email, we want just to optimize the content creation part, and for someone to look at it and review it, and then communicate with this potential large donor. So yeah, it's a very cool way. It's a very cool way to improve donor stewardship. And even if you don't want to build something exactly like this, I encourage you to watch this video to learn how to navigate the OpenAI API, so you can use it with any other automation tool, such as Make. That is a very good tool for automation as well. It's very similar to Zapier, to connect your tools and improve your day-to-day, improve your processes internally. So that's all of the tips that I had on like tactics you could use. But we have one last tip, and this one is about using AI responsibly. So as we all know, it's a very powerful tool and it's a very powerful technology, but we need to always keep in mind the ethical considerations of using AI, especially if we're thinking about scaling AI in our day-to-day, scaling AI in our teams. So be mindful of the environmental impact of AI. AI uses a lot of energy, so we need to be smart about what models we're using for what, and just conscious of the energy it actually uses. I personally think that it would be constantly optimized to use less and less energy. I think the release of DeepSeek just a few days ago is an example of that, how AI will keep evolving fast, and in the future it hopefully won't use a lot of energy, but that's not the case now. So we need to be mindful of the impact to the environment. Also take actions to avoid bias and inaccurate or fake results. Always review, always search for the source of the information. Always check if any information produced by AI is true, If possible, before you publish your content, put it through like a plagiarism checker or an AI detector to make sure it is not copying content from anyone out there. And if you follow the prompting techniques that we just talked about, the possibilities are that you will be able to create original content. You give AI, you give the generative model enough to come up with new things rather than copying what's out there. But take your measures to avoid publishing plagiarism or to publishing inaccurate or fake results, and also to avoid bias. Document your AI policy. I guess it's one thing that we did really, really at the beginning of our AI journey at Razorly. We wrote our AI policy, how we want to use AI, what the intentions are, and what the rules are for using AIs at Razorly. What are the boundaries of using AI in our day-to-day? And I think this is super important to align everyone in your team about how to really benefit from AI without causing a bigger problem for the organization. Also document your prompts. Here at Razorly, we have an AI prompt library, which really helps us keep and share with the team the prompts we use and how we have been improving them over time, and guidelines. So on the avoiding bias and documenting prompts and guidelines, I've also shared with you on our resource page for this webinar our own ethical guidelines for content writing. So whenever we are writing, we're training a model to write content for charities or nonprofits, we will use those guidelines to avoid exploitation, to ensure that the content is treating humans with decent treatment, and to avoid bias, to avoid reproducing any sort of like negative speech in our content. So I encourage you just to go and check that. And this is one thing you could add to your prompts. It could be a review, it could be added to the custom instructions, just to help the models that already come with a lot of built-in instructions or prompts to avoid bias, but we want to give it an extra level to get better results. And also consider privacy. Privacy is super important, and no matter the AI system we're using, this data is flowing through the web, is going somewhere. So it's a good practice to always anonymize personal information whenever possible. Don't use AI, don't share with AI any personal information from your donors, and check the privacy policy of whatever AI tool, AI supplier you're using. It could be Gemini, it could be ChatGPT, it could be Claude, it could be DeepSeek. Read their privacy policy. If you have access to a legal team, talk to them about their privacy terms to understand how this data is going to be used. So ChatGPT and the team plan also has making the commitment to anonymize any personal information, but it still goes through their servers. So consider carefully what information you are sharing with AI. It's also good to check the server location and the applicable privacy laws of where the server is located. So if the server is located in a country with under the GDPR, it's more likely that this company or tool will be safer for privacy, or will have stronger privacy measures. And that's the whole conversation that is going on already about DeepSeek and how the implications of privacy for it being hosted in China, or not having very clear privacy rules, or even sharing data with third-party partners. So yeah, consider the server location as well, because that might help protect your data. And minimize data collection by opting out of training modules whenever possible. As I mentioned, you can check your plan in whatever GPT or whatever AI supplier or tool you're using. Check your plan to see how the data is collected. And if possible, make sure it's not being used to train the models. It's another way to protect your own information and your organization information. So that's it for today. We still have 20 minutes. So I would like to open up for questions. But again, a last note on Razorly. If you want to discuss Razorly, you can go ahead and book a demo. You can chat with someone from our team about your fundraising ideas, your fundraising challenges for 2025, and we would be more than happy to help brainstorm what's next for you. So I see I have a few questions here. I would like to get started with the chat, and then we go to the Q&A. That's possible. So we have a question here by Mandy on the chat. Do you have an example of a draft email created? That's a very good question. We actually created for Giving Tuesday a tool that runs using LLMs in the back. And that just applies what we shared here with you today for content creation. So the prompting techniques and the ethical guidelines. And it will create not one email, but the whole email journey for a Giving Tuesday campaign. So we could demo it right now to see an example of like what that looks like. Of course, in this case, the prompts are not visible. They are on the back end. But it's using everything I just shared with you about prompting techniques. So I'm going to use the Inspire Art Foundation as well as an example. And I will say that my mission is to enable art therapy for mental health issues, for example. Then I can choose the goal of my email journey. So in this case, I'm going to say that I want to get higher donations from existing donors. And I can also choose my tone of voice. So the Inspire Art Foundation, I want it to be inspiring and aspirational. So what we're doing here is just like adding the instructions, as we mentioned with the Rhodes framework. And I'm also adding some context by giving it the key message for Giving Tuesday. So I'm going to say, we're raising $80,000 to fund our therapy programs this Giving Tuesday. And I can also tell about the audience. So let's pretend our audience is young artists that want to support people struggling with mental health issues. And then we generate the journey. So, no, this is the email, sorry. I am going to fill the form, make sure it is a real human. And then, as you can see, it's generating the email. Oh, something went wrong here, and the email wasn't generated. So I'll send the tools to you, but yeah, I would share the tool with you, but test the prompt that I shared, and you can see for yourself the results it will generate. So I'm so sorry something went wrong here. We need to check what caused it. But yeah, I will follow up later on with an example, if that's okay, Mandy. So we have another question by Karen that asks, how does Razorly use AI in a sustainable way? Always concerned about the environmental impact certain AIs have. Yeah, so we have a policy of how we use AI at Razorly. So we have our own GPT account, and we centralize how people are using AI through that own account, so we can see what people are doing and how much we can measure how much it's being used. As I mentioned as well, for the intelligent amounts feature, which is our donation optimization feature, we developed our own AI model. So we're not running on ChatGPT or any other AI model out there. So we developed our own AI model, and that just ensures that we know how energy is being used, or how it's processing the data. So we're really careful in how we are deploying AI, especially on the product. And I think it all goes through this having this clear AI policy, which also has a step of going through a very deep consideration analysis before we launch any process using AIs, or we use AI for anything on an ongoing basis. So each team member at Razorly would need to justify the use of AI, think about ethical implications, and you will go through a committee that will then approve the use of AI. So I think it is, yeah, it is certainly adding a little bit of a process to how we use AI in our day-to-days, but for us, I think it is worth it, as we can carefully consider our use of AI, and energy environmental impacts is one of the considerations that goes through that. So Jane asked when the webinar will be available. When will the webinar recording be available? I think in the next 24 hours probably, which is our time to grab the recording, add it to YouTube, add it to the page, and send you via email. So you can expect to receive it by tomorrow, I would say. Yeah, let me see if I have any other questions here that I missed. Not really. Does anyone have any other questions? I'll sip my coffee while you answer. No? Okay. So yes, we can wrap up right here. You have access to the recording later on, and also all of the resources I just shared. Feel free to chat with us, send us an email, and we would like to keep this conversation going. So thanks for attending today. I hope you got helpful tips, helpful insights out of this conversation. And if that helps any of you to make a greater impact in your day-to-day work, I would be more than pleased. So thanks for listening to me for this whole time, and I'll see you in our next webinar. Bye. Thank you. So I'm just getting the thanks here. Lee, Jason, Catherine, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. See you in the next one. Bye.